Big shout out today to the voice artists. Today it's Greg and Dee, and they do an amazing job. I do a little bit of demonic work, but yeah, big shout out to those two. They knocked it out of the park today. I hope you enjoy it. It's fantastic. Bye.
Lucy. I don't like surprises. This is not a moral statement. I have presided over plagues, fallen empires, and at least 3 popes who thought they could outdrink me. They couldn't. Surprise is not new to me, but I do like a good evil surprise. But confusion, true confusion, that is a rarer and much more irritating thing. Simon de Montfort has realised something is wrong. I feel it the way a spider feels a tremor in the web, a hesitation, a shift in the ritual's weight. The moment when a human intellect, an unusually sharp one, admittedly, moves from confidence to suspicion, that moment is dangerous. That's when plans unravel. Michael is still speaking. Of course he is. Michael always speaks as if the universe were a lecture hall, and he's disappointed with the attendance. His voice presses against the walls of the office, too clean, too ordered. It scrapes at reality like a blade that insists it is only a ruler. And Simon, clever, arrogant, brilliant Simon, has stopped nodding. Ah, that's new. I lean back in the chair I am absolutely not supposed to be sitting in and fold my arms. To anyone else, I look relaxed. To the cosmos, I am a held breath. Something is wrong. Michael should not be here like this. Not summoned so cleanly, not constrained so politely. Angels do not like leashes, even symbolic ones, and Michael least of all. If he were truly acting of his own accord, there would be fire by now, or trumpets, or at the very least, a smiting. Instead, there is theatre. I do not trust theatre unless I am the one directing it. Simon's thoughts are loud now. He's circling the idea he doesn't want to touch. I may not know what is going on. Not an easy thought for the great Simon de Montfort, occult expert. Good, clever boy. That is when I decide I need information. Not heavenly information. Heaven lies worse than hell ever did. Heaven lies by omission, by footnote, by inconvenient translation. No, this requires someone who can move unnoticed, unimportant enough to be ignored by powers who only look up. I clear my throat. Preorder, I say mildly to the shadows. I need eyes below. The little black cat that sits on my lap as a black furry puddle wakes and regards me with green eyes. No summoning circle for this demon. No sulphur. Just a cat, because Hal has learned that no one questions cats. She blinks at me. Once. Patiently. Yes, I tell it. Now, go see why Hal feels wrong. Hell felt strange to me at this moment. To you mortals, a good description of this feeling would be like when the label at the back of your favourite comfy jumper started to itch your neck for no apparent reason. The cat yawned. Demons these days. No work ethic. Then she dissolves into shadow and absence, slipping back through the cracks between worlds like a thought someone almost remembers. And I wait. I am not patient. Waiting is not something I'm famous for, but I do it well when required. I let Michael's voice wash over me while I think. If Michael is not trying to usurp me, then someone powerful enough has learned how to bend angelic rules without breaking them. That narrows the list to a very small and extremely irritating selection of beings. If hell is unattended... No, that cannot be true. Hell is never unattended. I drum my fingers once against the arm of the chair and stop myself. Habit from when I still had nerves. Across the room, Will is watching Michael like a man watching a storm he intends to slap one day. Eleanor looks like she might kneel. Monty looks like he wants a cup of tea and a biscuit. Simon looks like a man who has just realised the map he is using may have been drawn by his enemy. Good, I smile faintly. Whatever is happening, it's not simple. And anything that isn't simple is usually mine to deal with. The cat will return soon. It always does. Hell has excellent return policies. Until then, I watch the Archangel Michael speak truths that are technically accurate and spiritually incomplete, and I wonder, for the first time in a very long while, who exactly is trying to sit in my chair? And whether they have any idea what it costs to keep it. I get up and start to pace, to the shock of those mortals present. Michael smiles at me. Smug idiot. I normally don't pace. Pacing is for generals who have lost battles and gods who pretend they haven't. I consider. I stand very still and let the universe adjust itself around me. Michael's presence still hums in the walls of Simon's office like a headache made of sanctimony. Something is wrong. I don't mean morally wrong, that would be tedious, but structurally wrong. The pieces don't fit. Michael is unaware, which is rare. Simon is not confident, which is rare. And worst of all, heaven is being vague. I click my fingers once. Preorder, I say softly. The little black cat must not be ready. Of course, one does not summon a demon secretary so much as suggest productivity and wait for the inevitable eye roll. Still, I wait. Waiting is not something I enjoy. I examine the room instead. The professor's wards are competent, annoyingly so. His books whisper, but they don't gossip. Michael stands in the centre of it all righteous angles and borrowed authority, speaking as though the universe owes him an explanation. It doesn't. I feel it then. A tiny pressure change, like a draft through a crypt. Preorder returns by simply being there, licking one paw with exaggerated care. Oh, good, I say. You're back. She doesn't look at me. She cleans between her toes. You know, she says, most rulers thank their clever spies. I am not most rulers. No, Preorder agrees. Most rulers don't get overthrown, the cat says. I close my eyes very briefly. What did you see? She rolls onto her back, exposing her belly in a gesture that has fooled no one in the history of creation. Oh, things, places, conversations. Hell's been lively. You should visit more often. Preorder. I have a warning in my voice that she should comprehend. Yes, she sits up, tail flicking. You want to know why the architecture feels wrong? Why the air tastes like an accounting error? My smile tightens. My anger is building. Speak. Well, she says lightly, there's a living mortal in hell. That gets my attention. I open my eyes, say that again. A mortal, she repeats. Alive, breathing, ambitious, annoying. My thoughts move very quickly now. Mortal ingress is rare, but not unprecedented. Accidents happen, cultists trip. Lawyers who sell their souls at the bar exam can often fall into hell, but are no threat. Who? I ask. I demand. Preorder resumes her grooming. She's enjoying her position of power in this moment. Truder! Okay, says the little cat. You remember him, scruffy, a sorcerer person full of bitterness and resentment. Belphastus? The name lands like a dropped glass. Belphastus. Who? I don't I now do. Oh, I say very carefully. Yes, Trudeau continues, enjoying herself now. And he's not lost. Not screaming, not bargaining. He's talking. My stomach, which I do not have, but keep the feeling of for nostalgic reasons, tightens. To whom? The cat looks at me at last. There's a little concern in those little red eyes, although they glow just enough to be rude. Astaroth. The room becomes silent at that name. That takes me a moment to process. Astaroth. Regent. Keeper of the throne. The thing I leave in charge when I step away because nothing else is sufficiently terrifying to deter the ambition of the other denizens of that realm. And, Trudeau adds almost kindly, they seem to be getting along. I stare at her. A mortal, speaking to Astaroth and not screaming. Not dead, thinking. That is very bad. Astaroth does not converse. He audits. He ends discussions by unmaking the participants. If he is talking to Belphastus, it's because he finds him interesting, or useful, or amusing. All three are unacceptable. For the first time in centuries, something like cold runs through me. Belphastus is clever in the way that rats are clever, good at finding cracks, excellent at surviving disasters they have no right to survive. And Astaroth, well, he does not play games unless the board is soaked in blood. If those two decide... No, I cut the thought off before it finishes forming. I straighten my jacket. Trudeau tilts her head. You look concerned. I do not swear often, I say. That's true, says the smiling little cat. It's bad for the brand, she continues. We pause and contemplate. I exhale once. Shit! The word feels heavy, dangerous. The universe twitches, offended. Trudeau's ears flatten. Wow, she says. You are worried. She's not used to me being such, so this frightens her. Yes, I am. I spin, already stepping into the fissure that leads home. Tell hell to prepare, I say. And Trudeau? She's no longer playing the fool. Yes, my liege. If Astaroth smiles, the little cat grins, sharp and feline. Run. And then I'm gone, tearing back toward my throne, because whatever is unfolding below, it's no longer a misunderstanding. It's a coup.
Belphastus, my grand arrival in hell, as told by Belphastus the Unclaimed, temporary aspirant to the throne, visionary, and man who deserved much better than this. Or so I thought. Right. So there I was, arms raised, robe flapping, chanting the ritual words, some of which I definitely pronounced correctly. Standing inside the finest chalk pentagram Leicester's discount hardware shop could provide chalk for. Hal was holding a candle at entirely the wrong angle. I told him several times, but no one listens to genius while he's working. And the nameless demon pigeon was flapping about complaining that Lucifer had definitely left hell. So this was my moment. Then came the flash. The tremendous bone-shaking, earth-rending flash I'd expected. Well, it didn't exactly happen. What I got was more of a pop. You know, the pop, like when you accidentally leave your eggs to boil dry on the cooker and then... Well... hell. Or so I assumed. The first thing I noticed upon arriving was... bugger all, actually. I don't mean nothing interesting. I mean actual nothing. Difficult not to notice nothing. True nothingness. Pitch darkness. Blacker than black. A darkness so absolute it felt like it had opinions about me. And those opinions weren't dark and unwarranted. They were like proper bastardizing black ones. They weren't positive opinions, let me tell you. Right, you probably gathered that by yourself now, though. It was a kind of darkness that had never met light, and would consider it deeply rude if introduced. I cleared my throat. Hello? The darkness did not reply, which was unsophisticated of it, frankly. I'd envisioned stepping directly into the basalt steps of the throne of hell, Lucifer's throne, with magma fountains spurting tastefully in the background, infernal choirs warming up, demons gasping at my magnificence. It might well have looked like that, but I could see nowt, as it were like proper black and that. It were different underfoot than stone, though. My shoes made a pathetic, lonely scrunch on what felt suspiciously like gravel. Gravel in bloody hell. Probably not gravel, though, eh? Probably the crushed bones of something right evil. I hadn't studied all those books, well, skimmed them, you know, to end up in the netherworld's equivalent of a poorly lit car park. It had to be bones, hadn't it? Had to be. I shuffled my foot experimentally. More gravelly bones. Or so I hoped. I took a careful step, hands out, trying to feel for anything throne-like, or even torch-like, or just anything. Where's the big fuck-off sign saying, "Welcome, new ruler of hell, please sign here"? There were only silence. And the peculiar sensation that the darkness itself was sniffing me for evilinality. I know, you're probably saying that's not a proper word. Well, it is in the lexicon now, you bastard. I can do that sort of thing. You know, invent words, 'cause I'm the Lord of Hell. Once I find that bloody throne thing, I will be at least. The darkness were laughing at me whilst judging me. Judging me. Possibly it were filing a complaint. Where were that blasted pigeon demon thing? Even he were gone. Right, I said loudly to establish my dominance type of thing. I am Belphastus the Unclaimed, future Prince of Hell, perhaps even the King. Regent. Co-manager? Title's negotiable. Point is, I demand a throne. Bugger all. Nothing. Nowt came back to me. Nor even an echo. In fact, the sound of my voice vanished so quickly that I got the distinct impression that the darkness were eating my words. Which is terribly harsh and probably violates some metaphysical workplace guidance. I hope the dog got indigestion. Then a thought struck me. The horrifying kind. What if this wasn't the throne room? What if I'd arrived, somewhere else like? Mist-like? Hell has layers. I've read that once. Well, Hal read it to me once, very slowly, using his selection of various people's fingers to guide himself along the lines of text. He had 6 fingers and 2 thumbs on each hand. He said they came in handy. Handy, Eric. What a wit the new Lord of Hell is, eh? You bastards. Had I missed the throne room, though? What if throne room were the next circle over, and I were just standing here in the outer darkness like an idiot waiting for a welcome party that weren't coming? Maybe there were a bus to it from here, but I couldn't see a bus stop, because it were dark. Oh, this is bastard in typical, I grumbled. Absolutely bastard in typical. Centuries of myth, 1,000 years of fear, and they still can't put up a bloody sign. This way to the throne. New rulers, please check in with reception. Take possession train. Replacement bus available at Pandemonium Corner. Anything! Come on! I yelled into nothing, hoping, well, that anything would answer. I tried taking another confident step, which was when the gravel moved. Not under my foot, no, beneath me. The ground itself shifted like something enormous had just rolled over in its sleep. I froze. The darkness rippled, and a voice so deep it seemed carved out of the underside of existence, whispered to me.
Oh, it's you!
My spine attempted to exit my body through my anus. As you can imagine, not a wonderful experience to, experience. I blinked, trying to see who had spoken to me, but I couldn't, 'cause as I said, it were fucking dark. So I built up my best kingly voice type thing. I imagined myself as king of this realm, and fought to gain that tonality that a king would have. But I fucked it up when actually trying to speak. I squeaked pathetically. Yeah? The darkness replied.
Wrong entrance, Belphastus.
Well, we've all made that mistake in the throes of passionate moment, I joked. Probably not appropriate, but I was a bit on edge and trying to calm myself down. I'm British after all, and innuendo's the mainstay of our humour, closely followed by sarcasm. A pause from the speaker of, evil-sounding words. A very long, judgmental pause. Wow. It were a long, bastarding, judgmental pause with this.
Again.
The voice finished ignoring my faultless quip. And that's when I realized I were not alone, and the thing I were talking to had no sense of humor. So I was not in the throne room. Bastard. And worse than that, I were already being looked down on by something that didn't appear to have eyes. I straightened, adjusted my robe, and attempted dignity. Well, I said, I meant to come to the wrong place, didn't I? My brain caught up with me at that point. The sentence I'd spoke were right stupid. I mean, this is the right place that I came to wrongly. I paused thinking about what I'd just said. No, that were complete bollocks. I came to the right place because I wanted to come to the wrong place first before it were the right place for the place I needed to get to, right? That were out of my mouth before I'd thought about it. When I did think about it, it were an understandable... Oh, fuck it. Act like it made sense. Who's gonna question the new boss of hell anyway? The darkness laughed. And let me tell you, if you've never heard darkness laugh, count yourself lucky. It sounds like a heavy coffin lid being closed on your future career prospects. And maybe your testicles while they're still attached to you. And that, folks, is not a pleasant experience, I can tell you. And I should bloody well know it's happened 3 fucking times to me. It wasn't what I expected in this moment, though. In all my scheming, brilliant. Plotting, ingenious. And general villainous forward thinking, underrated. I'd pictured myself arriving in hell with at least a bit of flair. Maybe a red carpet, maybe a skeletal mariachi band. Lucifer's throne waiting, empty, with my name practically glowing upon it. Instead, standing in pure void for at least 30 seconds, which is 30 seconds more than any aspiring tyrant of hell should tolerate. I clear my throat again. Hello? The void does not echo your voice. It swallows. It swallows like your mum swallows... I weren't gonna say it. I've got some self-respect, you know, I shouted. As the new king of hell and all that. I was gonna say it. That's when I realised I'm truly not alone. Something is here. Something were watching me. Something were waiting. Like a big, sorta, weighty type thing. I could feel it. It were like cold fingers brushing the back of my soul. And then a voice. Smooth, rich, and deeply amused, spoke to me.
You may come closer, Belphastus. I've been watching you blunder around for quite some time.
My entire spine again attempts to leave my body through my anal orifice. This time, there were a little thrill to it, which is slightly concerning. I built up my courage. After all, I were the new king of hell, and I had to act like I were. I would demand to know who was in my presence. That would set this conversation on the right foot. Who's there? I managed, attempting to sound assertive. It came out closer to sounding like an asthmatic ferret. An asthmatic ferret, aye. But I like to think it sounded like a right dangerous asthmatic ferret. A real bastard to get trapped in your trousers. That voice chuckled. The sound vibrated in my bones.
Who am I? Not a simple question to answer, little one.
Condescending, but I'll let it lie.
Oh, sweet child. You truly have no idea where you've landed, do you?
Well, no, that's kind of why I'm trying to find out, you knobhead, I thought. Notice I thought it. I didn't actually say it. But unfortunately, whatever it were that were listening, it must have heard my thoughts, as I had the feeling that the gravel beneath me was no longer crushed bones, but rather loose feces. A figure materialis I did. Not by the introduction of something as offensive as light, but by t'other thing. An introduction of an implication. The presence that arrived was so overwhelming that my mind kept trying to form a visual and failing. like staring at a nightmare wrapped in a migraine. It were looking at me, though, even though I still couldn't see it proper like. I demand you tell me your name. Demanded, because apparently I enjoy being a stupid bastard. Silence followed for a bit. Then... laughter. No, not with me, but right at me. I were right, whatever it were a right bastard.
Very well. I'll tell you who I am. Listen closely, little Belphastus.
Oh, he were right patronising whoever it were. Little Belphastus. I were of average height, I were. For a 14-year-old girl.
I am Astaroth.
Realisatory, explosionary red flag went off in my head, resulting in me thinking, shit. That's not good. A perfunctory thought that didn't have the real gravitas that perfunctory thought needed.
Grand Duke of the Infernal Court.
Pause.
Keeper of secrets forbidden to God's creatures.
Pause.
Regent of the throne of hell in Lucifer's absence.
Guess what I did next? You got it. I paused.
Advisor of kings, corrupter of prophets, scourge of sanctified minds.
Long, bloody, unneeded pause. I was kinda getting the idea that I was deep in the evil doo-doo with a proper evil doer of evil do. Each title dropped like an iron bollock in my chest.
I am the spirit degolation, catalogued in their despair.
Another pause. But at this point, it didn't matter. I'd already kinda got the bastard in idea I were in deep shit. I get it. You're Billy Big Bollocks, I thought. I definitely didn't say that out loud, though I did think that maybe I shouldn't even have thunk it. A laugh came next.
I am the one the grimoires beg mortals never to summon.
I was getting distracted. Bored even.
I am called the Great Impurity, the whisper behind apostasy, the crowned blasphemy.
Did Hal turn that gas ring off on the cooker? I suppose at least the damp and the flat meant it would be right hard for it to burn down completely.
I am older than your languages, and hungrier than your very fears.
Shit. I had the dentist at 2 today. They'll bloody charge me for that missed appointment, the bastards. Came the voice to get my attention once more. Oh yeah, the sense of dread had returned, along with my attention. Attention's a difficult thing to maintain for one as evil as myself. I do have EDHD, you see. Evil Definitive Horror Disorder. Right. Back to the old shitting myself with fear routine. Oh no, it were my spine I was shitting out, weren't it? And action. I can feel my knees wobble and loosen with the aforementioned bowel activity. The voice continued, softening into a terrible purr.
I have been depicted as angel, accuser, oracle, serpent, judge, monster. All are correct, but all are insufficient.
I am sweating fucking buckets now. I didn't know spirits could sweat. Actually, am I just a spirit here? Or am I me and still bodily me? These are things I should have considered before coming, probably. Pause.
I am the...
I'd had enough. I knew we were proper evil, hard bastard type material. Okay. I know who you are. Astaroth. Proper evil Duke of Hellishness, bastardous thingy bloke. Badass bastard. Who doesn't stand for anyone bastarding about. The thing paused and started to listen. The bastard.
Well, yeah, that description works as well, I suppose.
Right. I get it. I whisper. Good introduction. Very thorough. A bit long, I have to add. I mean, after the Grand Duke of Earl, you'd kind of done the legwork, hadn't you? And to be honest, the PowerPoint presentation was a step too far in evil intent. But I do appreciate the effort. I mean, that attention to detail tells me that you're a double hard bastard in the world of evil hard bastards. Like, top boy. Or is it top thingy? Another dreadful pause, and it really were a right dreadful. A pause that were filled with mirth and intention to add more dread to my mortal soul, which were already dreading stuff, if I'm honest.
And in your case, Belphastus, in your case, I am also known as Karen.
I blink. Did you say Karen?
Yes.
My mind whirls. Karen? Who the fuck is Karen? Oh, hang on. Karen Wee Pants McGreary from when I were in Mrs. Donovan's special Year 5 class at school. The one who blew snot bubbles from her left nostril and who would eat the glue.
I think you'll find we don't use the term special anymore, Belphastus, and no, that wasn't me. Although I can tell you that Karen has her very own, very successful business these days, breeding butchery cars.
Okay. Sorry about that. Well done, wee pants. A dreadfully dread-filled pause followed. Oh, Karen. I tapped my chin, racking my brain to think of this mysterious Karen character. Oh, you don't mean Karen Cockspittle at the fishmonger's? Got one eye and a hair lip. Has such a bad lisp that she once got fined by the Elf Board for saying the place name Entwistle above the fresh mussels. The silence that followed told me that no, it wasn't that Karen. Not her then. Karen. Oh, of course, the Karen. Karen, the bane of man. Karen, the bitch of the kitchen. Devourer of souls. Wronged so many times by males that she treats them like... I couldn't come up with a great description of how she treats men, but this one felt valid. Like proper shite. As in... shift manager Karen. McDonald's Karen. My Karen from work. At McDonald's.
Indeed. That Karen. Although, I think you are being a tad judgmental there, Belphastus. If you'd been mistreated by men in the past the way she had, then you would not have a regard for men.
The word men were spat out in a proper disgusted and judgmental way.
I possess her actually every Monday to Thursday. I've learned a lot from her. She's, somewhat she's actually really, really vindictive.
She's a bastard. She's the one who cut my brakes short, who makes me clean the toilets, the one who took my chips when she thought I wasn't looking and still charged me for them, the one that calls me... This were the darkest of all the dark points. She's the one who bloody calls me love! Its resulting laughter were like thunder in molasses.
You are particularly slow on the fry duty though, Belphastus.
My soul screams. Everything suddenly makes sense. The emotional terrorism, the icy stare, the way she could appear behind me without making a sound. The clipboard. That bastard in clipboard. Oh my God, I whisper. My manager, Karen, is the regent of hell.
Correct.
And I called you, a petty tyrant in a polyester shirt.
Also correct.
Long silence. So what now? I squeak. Astaroth leans closer, not physically, but cosmically, and says,
Now, Belphastus, I'm intrigued. You will explain why you think you are worthy of the throne of hell, the throne that I currently occupy, and do make it very good.
I take a deep breath and do my best to edge past this moment in which my bladder contemplates treason.